Good morning, and thank you for being here today. Before I begin, I'd like to acknowledge that we're currently meeting on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, Anishinaabeg, the Chippewa, Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples. We offer them our respect and our thanks for the contributions past and present. Usually at this time of year, our lobby here is filled with guests. However, not today. Today marks the 309th day the aquarium has been closed to the public since the start of the pandemic, and its number is similar to all attractions across Ontario. The closure has been incredibly impactful on us, our employees, our guests, and the entire tourism industry. It's been an extremely difficult time. We realize the unknown element of the pandemic has been difficult to navigate. However, we know everything is improving daily across the province, and this is welcoming news. This week also marks Canada Day, the busiest travel weekend of the summer, and such a shame that Canadian families remain unable to make concrete summer plans. Canadian travelers are being left out of the travel equation. This is also the most critical time for the entire tourism industry in Ontario and Canada. We here at Ripley's Aquarium of Canada do close to 50% of our business during the summer months. And our key summer markets are regional tourists from across Canada, as well as international visitors, especially from the US. The success of our summer season is dependent on two things. One, have the opportunity to reopen Ripley's Aquarium when it's safe to do so and as quickly as possible. And two, open the borders to both US and international fully vaccinated travelers. Fully vaccinated foreign travelers are still unable to visit Canada, and this leaves a devastating impact on our local business. Due to the nature of our business at Ripley's Aquarium, we've maintained our attraction to the highest standards to care for our fish, maintain our water quality and building, whether we have guests here or not. And this is with zero revenues. Now we require all levels of governments a plan that will allow us to safely reopen and under what restrictions. We still require time to bring back our team, retrain them, and get ready for opening. We need a plan so we can plan. Canadians have done their part and stayed home, respecting health and safety measures and getting vaccinated. Now it's time for the government to provide clear, timely, and safe guidance on opening Canada for international travel. Our communities, our people, and our economy depend on it. Every single day counts. And for this reason, we stand here together representing all the tourism industry. We ask all levels of government to safely reopen and welcome visitors from across Canada and around the world. Now is the time for action. Thank you. Now I'd like to introduce John Karstmatis, Director of Sales and Marketing at Mirvish Productions.
Thank you, Peter. Good morning, everyone. I'm John Karstmatis. I'm Director of Sales and Marketing for Mirvish Productions. We operate 4 downtown theaters, and when we're fully functioning, we play to 2 million people a year. Of course, we haven't done that since March of 2020. And it's been tough for everybody because it affects a huge community of people. And of course, our theaters don't function alone. They're part of an ecosystem that includes places like this because we bring in a lot of visitors, many from the United States. In the summertime, 50% of our audience are visitors. And when they're here, they go to places like Ripley's, they go to the CN Tower, they go to restaurants, they stay in hotels, they shop. We're all connected, and that's what's really been bad about where we're at right now without a plan. We all agree that the public health is the first thing that we have to worry about. But at the same time, we need to know where we stand, especially right now where many of us feel we're in a very good position. Our vaccination numbers are going up in a huge way, and we still don't know where we stand. And we're not in a position to be able to open at a moment's notice, although I think, Peter, you may be able to do that because you maintain your cast of fish. We have to rehearse everybody. We got to get everything ready. So we need a reopening plan that will include international travel. Without the international travels, our audiences will not be big enough. Our local audiences cannot support what we do and what others do alone. So we really, really, really need the government to act now. And we need the federal government to publish a comprehensive reopening plan immediately. It's really not that much more complicated. We need guidance. We don't want to do anything without guidance, and we need all levels of government to step forth and have dialogues with us and tell us what can happen, when it can happen, and let us all plan together. Let's all reopen together. And now I'd like to introduce Christopher Bloor, CEO of Tourism Industry Association of Ontario. He actually has firsthand experience on all members and aspects of the tourism industry, and he can tell you all about it. Chris?
Good morning, everybody, and it's great to be here. I just wish we were here in different circumstances, and this lobby, Peter, was full of tourists about to embark on a great experience. You know, today we're just a stone's throw away from the Scotiabank Arena, where over 25,000 Ontarians visited to get their vaccination. And in Ontario itself, we've well surpassed the targets set by the provincial government to get ourselves reopened this summer. And today we're focusing on the federal government, but I just want to pay tribute to Ontarians who are doing what they were asked to do by all levels of government, which is to get vaccinated, and we're certainly doing that here in Ontario. Now, prior to COVID-19, tourism in Ontario represented over 200,000 businesses, employing over 500,000 Ontarians, with an economic contribution of over $36 billion. The impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the tourism industry has been catastrophic. On average, tourism operators' revenues are down 70%. We have lost over 100,000 jobs and tens of billions of dollars of revenues. A significant portion of those losses are a direct result of the closure of the US-Canada border. Americans spend billions of dollars in Ontario every year, in our border towns like Niagara and in northern Ontario that sustain tens of thousands of jobs. Since the border has closed, Niagara has lost billions in revenues, and northwestern tourism operators have seen their revenues fall by as much as 93%. American tourists spend more than domestic visitors, and in Northern Ontario alone, spend more than $500 million in the local economy. As the provincial government cautiously reopens Ontario, we've never needed American tourists more. 16 months into this pandemic, tourism operators across Ontario and Canada need a plan to reopen the border. After 16 months of sacrifice, job losses, and lost revenues, operators need certainty on when they can start to rehire Ontarians, buy equipment, stock, and that takes significant lead-up time. Right now, fully vaccinated Americans are making decisions on when they will spend their vacations this summer, and most importantly, where they will be spending their dollars. We need them to know that the US-Canada border will be open in time for them to spend their vacations here. Now, right now, Ontarians are sitting at home waiting for the call from their employers to learn whether they will have a job this summer. You simply can't restart our provincial and national economy without a thriving tourism industry. And for that to happen, we need a plan to reopen the border, and we need that plan today. I'm now going to pass on the podium on to my colleague, Lindsay Broadhead, Senior Vice President on Communications and Public Affairs of the Toronto Region Board of Trade, to talk about the importance of reopening our provincial economy, especially here in Toronto.
Thank you very much, Chris, and thank you, Peter, for having us today. There have been a number of strong indications that the market is readying itself to reopen. Ontarians and Canadians continue to get vaccinated at world-leading rates, and despite continued difficulties with vaccine delivery, second doses are being administered. We're moving forward quickly. The Quebec and Manitoban provincial borders opened, and while the US-Canadian borders remain closed for at least another month, it's clear from our members that the desire to open their doors to both domestic and foreign visitors is of paramount concern. And around the world, major cities are preparing for the safe resumption of international business travel. The OECD and World Health Organization in recent weeks have launched safe travel and smart vaccine initiatives. We are aware of more than 40 different digital health ID or immunization certificates under development. Governments in other markets are preparing for travel bubbles, permitting less restrictive travel under certain conditions. While it's prudent to acknowledge continued risks and uncertainties with the Delta variant, I want to stress that our position at the board continues to be that there is a very real urgency to ensure plans are in place to open the economy. Most of the media's eyes have been focused on border reopenings. This is important. But for many of our members, as well as businesses in large urban areas across Canada, it is only part of the story. What needs to be done is to set clear conditions for safety resuming business travel that supports investment, talent attraction, and visits to world-class places such as this. Canada needs to articulate a clear plan, a path to reopening, to enable business planners to start looking and booking here again. Clarity in protocols such as vaccine credentials and documentation, rapid testing, ventilation, mitigation, and safe air corridors, as well as safe travel corridors, is vital to create a line of sight on reopening. Nothing should prevent or stall this work. Further, we need to do something to undo all of the residual fear in the general population that persists. With our country on track to achieve unprecedented vaccination levels in the developed world, it is time to unscare the public, shifting the conversation away from the perils of international visitors to the safeguards being put in place to welcome them back. This isn't about saying when we reopen, it's about clarifying under what conditions we can and should reopen to our visitor economy as well as locally. In this way, we hope to use the board's platform as a catalyst to further discussion and hopefully speed up the process so that businesses suffer less. Thank you for your time, and I'd like to introduce Vito Crowley from Hilton Hotels.
Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you for having me here today. On behalf of our industry and specifically the hotel community in Canada, I just wanted to say that Canada cannot afford to be left behind as other countries around the world begin to reopen. Without immediate corrective measures, Toronto's vibrant tourism industry is at risk of witnessing another critical summer travel season lost to the pandemic. This puts people's livelihoods in jeopardy. Fully vaccinated travelers should be afforded the same opportunities as fully vaccinated Canadians, regardless of their nationalities, and that includes being able to travel here to Canada. In recent days, the federal government has failed to tell Canadians what they can look forward to as the vaccination effort continues. Canadians and Canadian businesses have been left completely in the dark. Canadian hospitality businesses rely on international travelers, plain and simple. By allowing Canadians to travel internationally while prohibiting fully vaccinated foreign travelers from entering into our country, the government is significantly disadvantaging Canadian businesses that need a successful summer travel season to survive. Throughout the pandemic, hotels have answered the call of public health. Hotels served as quarantine facilities for repatriated Canadians, provided a safe place for frontline workers to self-isolate, or offered shelter to the vulnerable. Most recently, we were asked to provide government-approved accommodation for returning travelers, with the experts found likely improve the quarantine compliance in Canada. We did our job. But the time has come to transition away from those restrictive measures and move towards a safe reopening plan based on science. Now it's time for the government to stand up and do their part. Canadians and Canadian companies deserve a comprehensive national plan to reopen our economy. ensure the free movement of Canadians across the country, reopen the US-Canada border, and put in place a clear vaccination certification program to allow re-entry to international travelers. I think we can all agree that these are critical measures that will enable the recovery of the travel and tourism sector and help to kickstart the Canadian economy that we so desperately need. So, in conclusion, I'd like to thank my distinguished colleagues here today. Ripley's, of course, Ripley's Aquarium of Canada is proud to have hosted all of you, and thank you to the press gallery here in attendance and here virtually as well. The summer season is starting. Now is the time for the government officials to step up and help save that summer. We can't wait any longer without facing long-term negative effects that many in the industry won't be able to recover from. We stand ready to work with the government on these matters. We're waiting for a plan. Thank you very much. And at this point, we'll start to field some questions, if there are any, whether it's here or through our operator.
So we'll hand it over to the operator now, please.
For those on the phone, a reminder to press star 1 to ask a question. Your first question will be from Trevor Johnson.
Hi there. My question is for the individuals from Mervish Productions and Ripley's Aquarium. I'm wondering if you could provide a little bit more color on the downturn that you've seen in tourist numbers to your facilities in particular and the impacts on your business.
Hi, this is John from Mervish. We haven't had any customers at all. We haven't opened since our final performance was March 13th, 2020. We've been closed since then. We've never been able to open because we've never been given that permission by our governments. I really can't answer that question. Anecdotally, I can tell you, I don't see visitors around. I mean, does anybody see visitors around? I mean, here we are, we're standing at what would be one of the busiest spots, the CN Tower, Ripley's Aquarium, and the windows right in front of us, there's nobody outside. Peter?
Same response. We've been closed for 400 days. We closed it last in November, so we don't know. But the streets are empty. There's no tourists here, and but we've been closed, and so we really can't answer that question either. So it's hopefully we'll be open soon. Thank you.
All right, next question, if there is one.
Nothing on the phone.
No.
Are there any questions in the room?
No.
Okay, that wraps the press conference.
Okay, thank you very much.